Greetings, and welcome once again to Arts Across America, presented by Sankofa.org and the Kennedy Center. As always, before we begin, I would like to acknowledge the ancestors, and all those who came before us, who paved a way for us to be here today. Our Native and Indigenous brothers and sisters, our African ancestors, all our relations. My name is Gina Belafonte, and I am an artivist and the executive director of Sankofa.org. Sankofa.org is a nonprofit organization founded by my father, Harry Belafonte, myself, along with Raul Roach. We educate, motivate, and activate artists and allies in service of grassroots movements and equitable change. We use art as a tool to engage the public. The Kennedy Center has been working with Sankofa.org to curate performances and conversations from geodiverse locations across the country to uplift and tell stories of communities in the time of coronavirus. Arts Across America seeks to utilize the Kennedy Center's digital platforms and partnerships with community organizations to connect and uplift the stories and art of communities from across the country, while also providing much needed support to artists. Arts Across America performances feature visionary cultural curators, artists, and workers using their power and agency to transform their community and thus the world. This is as much a celebration of the community that surrounds the artist as it is about the art itself. Sankofa.org is honored to partner with the Kennedy Center. And today, joining us are two very, very unique and beautiful artists, Jasiri X and Raquel Rodriguez. They're very different, but both use their power of their art to open up hearts and minds to new ideas and making deep connections to the community. First, let's welcome Jasiri X. Jasiri is the first independent hip-hop artist to be awarded an honorary doctorate, which he received from Chicago Theological Seminary in 2016. This recognition grew out of the spiritual, political urgency and artistic vision he shared on songs like Justice for Trayvon and Strange Fruit, which documented the unjust police killings of young Blacks in the millennial generation. Likewise, he has been deeply involved with the National Movement for Black Lives, working with organizations like the Gathering for Justice, Blackout for Human Rights, Justice for Else, BYP 100, and Sankofa.org. Still, he remains rooted in the Pittsburgh-based organization he founded, One Hood Media, which teaches youth of color how to analyze and create media for themselves. His critically acclaimed album, Black Liberation Theology, in 2015, has been recognized as a soundtrack for today's civil rights movement. He has performed his music from the Smithsonian to the Apollo Theater and has discussed his views on hip-hop, race, and politics at leading institutions across the nation, including Harvard University, University of Chicago, NYU, Yale, and Stanford, among others. Beyond his work nationally, Jasiri's focus on social change has also touched the global arena. In 2016, he was commissioned by the Open Society Foundation to travel to Colombia to create a film, War on Us, with Grammy Award-winning hip-hop artist Rhymefest. That highlights the international effects of US drug policy in South America. One of the most important political voices of his generation, in 2017, he received the Nathan Cummings Foundation Fellowship to start the One Hood Artivist Academy. Jasiri is also a recipient of the USA Cummings Fellowship in Music, the Robert Rauschenberg Foundation Artist as Activist Fellowship, and the President's Volunteer Service Award. He has been extremely, extremely busy. Welcome, Jasiri.
Oh, thank you. And I know I'm just trying to keep up with you. I mean, I see all the great work that you're doing with Sankofa, particularly connecting and supporting artists in this moment. You know, this is one of those moments, particularly since June, is why, you know, I know one of the reasons why yourself, you know, Mr. B and Raul started Sankofa, to give artists a platform to really speak out about, you know, what we see happening, you know, in this country and around the world. So just thank you for your work of encouraging artists like myself to speak out and use our voices to make this world a better place.
Well, absolutely, absolutely. I remember the early days, Jasiri. I remember the early days when you were sort of on the fence on whether or not you wanted to pursue this career. We met in about, I think it was 2004, maybe?
2005.
2005?
Yeah, and I was not a rapper. I was not an artist at that time. I kind of stopped doing it because I didn't think there was a platform for my work. You know, I was being told over and over again, conscious music doesn't sell. And I remember going, and you know, it was really the inspiration that I got, you know, from, you know, Mr. Belafonte calling a group of us young leaders together, and it was a focus around juvenile justice. And so inspired by that gathering, I did a song in response to the Gina 6 in Louisiana in 2006.
Yes.
and that was my launching pad. But that was really because this was like an issue of juvenile justice, and I felt like,
Right.
you know what, I want to use my voice to speak on it. And ever since then, you know, I've been an artist that have always tried to use my platform to speak out about, you know, what I see happening in our community and around the country. But it was really, you know, yourself and coming together in those early days to inspire me to take my music and my art seriously.
Which brings me so much joy, because you have brought so much joy, you have brought so much literacy, and you have brought such an impact to the space with your music and with your message. And the thing that, you know, is so interesting, because, you know, we've grown up together in a way, you know, over these past years. And it's been really beautiful to see how revered you are in the, not only the social justice community, but also in the hip hop community. You are a reference point now, which is amazing. You know, people talk about your music because you have had a very, in some cases, singular vision in ensuring that the plight of our people and the disenfranchised spaces we find ourselves grappling in and challenged in, that you bring forward and you shine a light on those spaces. You know, out of the gathering grew another such foundation and another nonprofit, which is Sankofa.org.
Absolutely.
And we in Sankofa.org focus specifically on the artist and engaging the artist in this work that we've been doing.
Yeah.
And we had the good fortune to work with you on a really important song called Don't Let Them Get Away with Murder.
Right.
Can you tell us a little bit about it before we go to the video?
Absolutely. And it's somebody, it's funny because somebody just tagged me in a picture of that first meeting. And it was like myself and David Banner and Ninth Wonder and Money Love. And, you know, I remember that very first meeting around Sankofa. But yeah, I mean, you know, this song was really inspired by Ferguson and what happened in Ferguson. And I remember prior to, you know, when I found out about Ferguson, I happened to be in New York, and you were there. We were all called to Mr. B's office.
No, Sankofa flew you and Carmen Perez down there immediately.
We went to Ferguson, and it was really inspired off of what I saw in The Cry. And the cry was don't let them get away with murder, to you know, begin to hold police accountable. It's interesting that we're having this, you know, finally having a national conversation about like police accountability. And it was really just a cry to, like, you know, when we see police murder people that are unarmed, you know, they should be held accountable just like anybody else. Really, I believe police should be held to a higher standard because they are trained.
Yes.
And so this was that cry. So I remember sending it to you, and you saying like, hey, Sankofa wants to put this song out. We want to do a video. It was the first like real video that I was doing just guerrilla songs and stuff. And so it was like the first real video. Shout out to Suzanne, who
Rostock, yes.
Suzanne Rostock. And it was powerful to be able to not only, you know, use my voice, but also have Sankofa's platform to help elevate this video. And so it's definitely a song that, you know, is as relevant now as it was, you know, when we put it out 5 years ago.
Absolutely. Let's take a look at it.
Don't let tribe in these streets, no longer living on our knees. We better dying on our feet, ready to fight for our life. Asking the Almighty, please don't let them get away with murder. How many bullets does it take for a cop shoot, kill an innocent black child? 15, 16, empty the clip, reload and pull the trigger back down. 17, 18, 19, frightening when you hear a rat-a-tat sound. 26, 27, every 28 hours, put another body under that ground. Where the governor, he absent, with the prosecutor and the captain. They say the process is democratic, but we getting bullets even though we got the ballot. Where's Malcolm, where's Chewy? Where's Pac, where's Big, where's Tukey? Where's Jay, where's Miles, where's Snoopy? Yelling, the police like Boosie. Blame Nixon, he's guilty with the whole damn system. These filthy cops are his henchmen. Left Mike in the street, 4 hour definition of a lynching. And cause I ain't from down here, they gonna tell me I need to mind my business. I saw him dead with a bullet in his head. You can go to the feds, I'm a witness. This war on us, 44's on us, and they still telling us be peaceful. Every week another black youth murder, and they still got the nerve tell us we equal. And when we stand up and put our hands up as a sign of protest, we evil. It's blood on the streets and blood on your hands. This time you answer the people. Don't let them get away with murder. 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 We gon' tribe in these streets, no longer living on our knees. We better dying on our feet, ready to fight for our life. Asking the Almighty, please don't let them get away with murder. How many juries does it take to indict a killer cop just to get that trial? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, throw another victim on that pile. 7, 8, 9 incidents, but don't never get a pink slip in that file. 10 eyewitnesses, but they never give it, cause our pigment is brown. Where the prosecutor, he biased when the wash his hands like Pontius Pilate. Then blame us when the people get violent. You're the weatherman that created this climate. Wanna be a highness, better yet a tyrant, cause you wanna try, so our people are defiant. Bringing out the dogs, wanna turn on the hydrant. Generation David ain't afraid of Goliath. We got the power, we got the heart, ain't none of us cowards. All this pain brought the change about us. Born for the moment, we made for the hour, made for the hour. What you gonna do when your cover gets blown? When the whole world see us all suffering at home? The complete opposite of that Star-Spangled Song. Hands in the air for those that are gone. Don't let them get away with murder. 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 We gon' tribe in these streets, no longer living on our knees. We better dying on our feet, ready to fight for our life. Asking the Almighty, please don't let them get away with murder. Get away with murder.
Wow, that is still so timely. It
Absolutely.
really holds up, sadly. I mean, the music beautifully holds up, the visuals hold up, and
Absolutely.
sadly, the content still holds up.
Right. I mean, particularly, what we've seen happening since you know, June, but even before, even if you look at the COVID-19, I mean, here we are,
Mhm.
almost 300 people gone, and we're saying like, we want to acknowledge that loss of life. Like, I mean, that's not small, that's large. We're losing 3,000 people a day, and it's like, we should hold responsible those that have, put together the way, you know what I'm saying, this
Mhm.
current system is set up.
Yeah,
And so I do appreciate, like, all the activists and all the folks on the ground, and the fact that, to me, we're today talking about like systemic racism, institutional racism, breaking down those things that will continually leak. Because if the institution isn't, this institution of white supremacy isn't tackled and broken up, we're going to have this play. That song's going to be relevant 5 more years from now.
exactly.
And so
Yeah,
just shout out to everybody, all that, I know you're doing a lot of great work in LA. And LA has been a place that we've seen a lot of victories as well, that are beginning that system change. And so, to me, I'm just excited that that's the work that we're seeing done around the country.
yeah, absolutely. And on that note, you have an amazing organization, One Hood, Tell
Yes.
us a bit about the work you're doing in Pittsburgh. Yeah.
Yeah, it's been, 2020 has been a wild ride for us. I mean, we're an organization that's in the intersection of arts and activism. We're artists, but we're artists that use our talents and gifts to speak to issues of social justice. And so for us, but we do events. We did an event with Raquel early. It doesn't seem like earlier this year. It seems like 3 years ago. But in January, we did an event with Raquel. We brought in Ilyasa Shabazz, one of Malcolm X's daughters, in February, and then COVID hit. And at that point, when it first hit our community, it was, how do we serve our community? So we got, 2,000 masks for frontline workers. Many of the frontline workers in our community are Black and brown folks. At that time, PPE wasn't really readily available. We had nurses contacting us to get masks, which was kind of scary. We did a whole campaign, a street team campaign, putting up posters in our community about the dangers of COVID-19. And then when we saw the deaths of Ahmaud Arbery, Breonna Taylor, and George Floyd, we're just an organization that's been at the intersection of, particularly around the protests. In Pittsburgh, unfortunately, we've been protesting for the last 3 years. In 2018, we saw a young man named Antoine Rose II, 17 years old, running away from police, shot 3 times in the back. We've been working with families then. Also, 2018, Pittsburgh was the place where we saw the largest massacre of Jewish people in the history of the United States, the Tree of Life synagogue. We want to allow Derek with our Jewish brothers and sisters as well. And so, we've just been out in the street, and we, supported a lot of the younger organizers. There was an organization called Black Young and Educated, which protested for 16 straight weeks. These are young high school students trying to, replicate what Sankofa did for us on the ground in Pittsburgh. And so for those that don't know, Pittsburgh last year was called the worst place in America for a Black woman to live, a race and gender study. Pittsburgh consistently has the poorest inner city Black community in the country. And, those are things that, we've been on the ground trying to improve things for our community, trying to make sure we have a platform for artists and activist voices. And so for all work, we're appreciative of all the folks that have been supporting us since June, and all the people that have been out in the street in Pittsburgh to do the work of, we say we want our city to be livable for everybody. It's called America's most livable city, Pittsburgh, but it's not livable for everybody, and that's our call. That's been our cry really since we started One Hood.
And you have a video called America's Most Livable City.
Absolutely.
So talks about exactly what you were talking about, and it brings once again shining a light on the issues in the city. So let's take a look at that video.
Let's do it.
Welcome to America's most livable city. Please ignore the invisibles with me. See, Pittsburgh, we built its economy, but we still lead the nation in Black poverty. Welcome to America's most livable city. Just ignore the invisibles with me and state your business, cause here, the place you live in depends on your race and privilege. They call it Cliffsburg, Pennsylvania, but block dictators will launch missiles to bang ya, while hot metal come whistling out the chamber to maim ya, twisting ya like WrestleMania. And what's crazier, the bishop won't pray for ya. Your family's so poor they can't even afford a crate for ya. And then them skyscrapers, bro, they can't wait for us to move out the hood so they can take it and lace it up. Transit cuts, a brother can't even take the bus. This is the ugly truth, no need to make it up. Then some magazine comes along and places us as most livable in the USA. What? Say what? Guess they didn't survey us, cause life is cut shorter than razors where they raise us. Judges erase us and quick to hang us, and police tase us until we never wake up. Welcome to America's most livable city. Please ignore the invisibles with me. See, Pittsburgh, we built its economy, but we still lead the nation in Black poverty. Welcome to America's most livable city. Just ignore the invisibles with me and state your business, cause here, the place you live in depends on your race and privilege. And downtown, there's a bunch of new buildings, glass and steel cathedrals that cost a few million. They make billions to treat the dude's illness with medicine and pharmaceuticals, so who's dealing? But the schools are failing, screw children, just make sure the office has a see-through ceiling. Pitt University and CMU killing. Classes cost thousands, I don't see you feel them. How we gonna get a job in biotechnology if all we ever learn is survival psychology? And why we so poor if y'all revive the economy, but we ain't get nothing besides an apology? Tear down the projects and put up a target, then build new homes so they can stimulate the market, but move us out the neighborhood so we can never harvest. The only thing we guaranteed in Pittsburgh is charges. Welcome to America's most livable city. Please ignore the invisibles with me. See, Pittsburgh, we built its economy, but we still lead the nation in black poverty. Welcome to America's most livable city. Just ignore the invisibles with me and state your business, cause here, the place you live in depends on your race and privilege.
Wow, facts, man. You just like tell the truth. You're such a brilliant storyteller, Jasiri. We really are. You really, really are. It's
I think somebody a great man told me that artists are the gatekeepers for truth. If you're with Mr. Belafonte for more than 10 minutes, he's going to talk about the great Paul Robeson and what he said about artists being the gatekeepers of truth. And so I feel like I'm blessed to have that mentorship. And understand that when I get on the microphone, like I have a responsibility to the audience and to, just like you said, to people that might not know about Pittsburgh other than the Steelers, and to know that folks are struggling here, but there's organizations like ours and others that are really trying to make it a city that's equitable for all.
And you're doing that. You're working that. You're doing it. You're doing great work on the ground there. And I know you collaborate with a lot of different folks. But, I get a little, I want to just take a shout out to Happy Hanukkah for those who celebrate Hanukkah out there. And in Yiddish, there's a word called kvelling. Kvelling means your heart is full and you're feeling prideful of what you're seeing. And, I've known you for a long time, Jasiri, and it's just a testament to your heart and your persistence and your commitment to our people that you continue to do this beautiful work and tell our stories. It's really quite.
No, thank you. I mean, I appreciate it. And the reality is, One Hood came out of those, meetings with, those early meetings, Mr. Belafonte would bring us around the country. And it was really a group of us that we formed our relationships on those road trips. And so, Sankofa has a lot to do with how, One Hood even began, and the DNA is in our organization because we're artists. We're artists, trying to give artists a platform to speak truth to power. And so it's definitely connected.
Absolutely.
So we're your little brother, we're your little brother
totally.
in Pittsburgh.
Oh, you so totally are. You so totally are. And, I hope that one day we'll be out of the job. But in the meantime, I'm grateful that you have chosen to continue as an artist this way and use art as a tool to educate and engage folks and bring sort of representation. Because so often, so many of us don't see ourselves represented in art and in what we're projecting out there. So I'm super, super grateful. And, a lot of your storytelling is about what is happening on the block and what is happening in our nation, in our world. But you also have a lot of music that are sort of, I would say, love songs, testimonials to relationships and to iconic figures that you admire. And so I want to thank you again for joining us for our Arts Across America last segment for the year. But I want us to end on an uplifting note.
Yes.
Of a beautiful song that you created. I appreciate that you chose to elevate our fearless Nelson Mandela, Madiba, as many people call him. And you have a beautiful song. Just tell us a little bit about Listen to What the Drums Say.
Yeah, I was working with a brother from London, and he had gave me the beat, and I was writing it because I remember, writing the song, and it was complete. We were actually like working on the video. And we found out like Nelson Mandela passed, and I was happy that I was able to, because I just heard them drums, and those drums just reminded me of the continent. And, I just was happy that I was able to honor this brother in song because of the sacrifice that he made. I mean, a lot of people talk about, we're seeing it right now, folks are on the front line, folks are getting arrested, but how many, would dedicate, spend almost a lifetime in prison for the freedom of our community and our people. And so I'm happy that I was able to put something together to honor him.
That's so beautiful. Well, we're going to go to that video, but I want to encourage our audience to make sure that you follow Jasiri, find him on all of his social media, find his music, download it, buy his music, support One Hood in Pittsburgh, whether it's financially or whether it's in kind, with whatever, capabilities that you might have to be able to donate. But please make sure you check out One Hood. And we'll end our segment with you, or a portion of our segment with you, Jasiri, with this beautiful song. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Blessings to you for the rest of the year.
You too.
Listen to what the drums say. We are all gonna be free one day. He said, listen to what the drums say. We are all gonna be free one day. He said, listen to what the drums say. We are all gonna be free one day. Just listen to what the drums say. We are all gonna be free one day. Would you go to prison to gain freedom, or get nailed to a cross to change heathens? Heal the world at this pain you're receiving, and spend a lifetime locking chains to redeem them? When the children are starving, would you risk it all to till the garden? When your enemies are stealing and robbing, will you build a brotherhood? Are you willing to arm them? What if justice was illegal and equality was evil? Poverty would see through the ruling body deceitful. When the righteous need you, would you fight for your people? For the slight, for the feeble? Through the eye of a needle was the image of a man. He reached from the clouds, he was giving me a sense. Said he was still alive, but I didn't understand. When you die for your nation and you living in the land. Then I looked over the horizon and saw Mandela and the sun, it was rising. He said, listen to what the drums say. We are all gonna be free one day. When I looked over the horizon, I saw Mandela with wings, he was flying. He said, listen to what the drums say. We are all gonna be free one day. Patience is necessary for greatness. The question is how strong your faith is. Will it matter how long the wait is? If sacred is what the source of your strength is. The definition of willpower, cause real power don't have to steal power. Behind bars, can you still build power? And when you stay pure, when you finally feel power. Mandela, 27 years in hell cellar, but you can't gel the lyric, can't kill the spirit. When the children hear it, their hearts rise. This is much bigger than apartheid. It's all lives. It only takes one match to start fires to light up the dark skies. The flames keep burning even after the spark dies. Tell me what impact will your life have? When your last night's past, will your light last? Then I looked over the horizon and saw Mandela and the sun, it was rising. He said, listen to what the drums say. We are all gonna be free one day. When I looked over the horizon, I saw Mandela with wings, he was flying. He said, listen to what the drums say. We are all gonna be free one day. Listen to what the drums say. We are all gonna be free one day. He said, listen to what the drums say. We are all gonna be free one day.
That was so beautiful. And in the brilliant words of Jasiri X, he said, I believe, and I would like to quote, but I hope I heard it in enough time. Justice should be equal and poverty, or justice was, what if justice was equal and poverty was illegal? I mean, come on, that's amazing, amazing lyric. So thank you so much to Jasiri X. And now we're going to sort of take a little bit of a shift. We're going to just move into a whole other zone with our next guest. I am very, very honored and excited to present Miss Raquel Rodriguez. I am so excited for Raquel to be here. Raquel is a LA native. She is a Mexican-American R&B soul singer who draws inspiration from the greats of our time, like Prince, Michael Jackson, Shaka Khan, Stevie Wonder, Amy Winehouse, and Bruno Mars, just to name a few amazing people. Raquel is the true embodiment of the multicultural millennial, fusing the subcultures of the last 30 years of LA style with her nostalgic yet current brand of music. Raquel has shared the stage with such luminaries as Gwen Stefani and Anderson .Paak, and has opened for artists such as PJ Morton, Snoop Dogg, Lizzo, Moonchild, and more. Her studio release, The 310, inspired by the culture of her native Los Angeles, includes several songs that captured ears around the world, most notably the single Mile High. The single, with over 800,000 streams, wow, quickly gained popularity on Spotify and Apple Music and continues to grow on all digital platforms. Raquel's latest album, Sweet Side, includes exciting collaborations with artists and producers such as Maxwell, MXXWLL Maxwell, Il Camille, Matt Johnson, and Nate Williams, Steve Swatkins, Al Stone, Nigel Hall, and more. So welcome, 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 Raquel. Thank you so much for joining us here.
Thank you for having me. I think we're going to just jump right into our first song.
Peace, let's do it. Sweet
This
Side.
is called Sweet Side. I take things personally whenever you're around. You play so tough for me. You're never backing down. And you always need to be teaching me something I don't seem to know. I keep on asking if I'll ever be enough. But all the while, I know that you got your sweet side. When we see that smile, show me your sweet side. Help me remember why I'll always love you. Even just once in a while, you show me your sweet side. Do you remember when you called me up, taking my time again? You said you just wanna talk, but you start questioning everything, even when I'm doing fine. You break me down and I just stay quiet. But all the while, I know that you got your sweet side. When we see that smile, show me your sweet side. Help me remember why I'll always love you. Even just once in a while, you show me your sweet side. Come on. Your sweet, sweet side. Your sweet, sweet side. Your sweet, sweet side. You got your sweet side. When we see that smile, show me your sweet side. Help me remember why I'll always love you. Even just once in a while, you show me your sweet side. Come on. you.
Beautiful,
Thank
beautiful. That
you.
was amazing. You have such a great groove, you know. I have to give a shout out to Eric Wisa, who works with
Oh,
us at
yes.
Sankofa.org, who turned me on to you and turned Sankofa onto you. I mean, you are such an amazing talent. Thank
Thank
you
you
so
so
much for
much.
joining
Yeah,
us here
thank you,
today.
Eric, too, for introducing me to Sankofa. He actually got to come to one of our outdoor front yard COVID sessions. We
Amazing,
had a concert
amazing.
in our front yard, and we invited him, and he was really, really cool. So I'm happy to be part of the Sankofa crew now.
Yes, absolutely, you are. You're part of the Sankofa family. Um, so tell us a little bit about, like, I was watching you hit those buttons while you were, which is, it tells me obviously now you're a musician as well as a singer, even though a singer is a
Totally.
musician. But I've seen you play the keyboards before.
Yeah.
But I think obviously because during COVID, it's a little bit more difficult to have like a full band and have a whole space.
Way harder.
Tell us a little bit about that machine that you're working.
So this is an MPC Live. It's made by Akai, and I actually started using this because even before COVID hit, well, first of all, this is my partner, Sam Bronner. He's on the drums here.
Hi, Sam.
Hello.
And Sam and I make so much music together, and a lot of the times, like you said, it's very, very hard to get a band together. So we wanted to figure out a way, how could we perform? How could we do a show with just the two of us? Like, I'm a singer, you're a drummer. There's literally no one playing any kinds of chords. It's just me and you, so we got to figure it out. So what we're doing right now is Sam's got his sample pad back there that he's running our regular tracks off of, and here I'm triggering background vocals, like... So every time I have a background vocal that I know is coming up, I'm just going to press that little button. And I have
I
every
see.
song, I have different arrangements for things, and it's kind of confusing to figure out, but now that I understand how this machine works, it's so cool because now Sam and I could just show up anywhere and play a drum vocal duo set.
I love it. That's so great. That's so great. I'm
very
glad that they're
helpful.
making this kind of technology for artists, to help them enhance the experience for their audiences and also engage in, new and innovative ways to create music.
Exactly. And
Yeah.
honestly, one of the reasons I feel like fairly confident using this thing is because none of my friends play it. Anytime I try to play something, I'm like, I have a million friends that play this way better. I can't do this. Like, that's kind of why
Right.
I don't play keys anymore, because I live with an amazing keyboard player. I've lived with 3 other amazing keyboard players. All the guitar players that I've lived with, it's just like, I'm not going to learn it. I've got these guys right here.
And then you can sample their.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, that's great. That's so great. Tell us a little bit about sort of your inspirations for your songs. I mean, what we're hearing today, which I'm so grateful for, are 3 or 4 original tunes.
Yeah.
And where do you get your inspirations from?
So my previous project before Sweet Side, I had a project called the 310 Part 1 and 2, and now it's like on a double vinyl, a whole 310 series. And that particular project was inspired by Los Angeles. When people ask me to pick a genre or to tell people what I sing, I often have a very hard time answering the question because it's just like, well, it's a little of everything, kind of like my city, We grew up I'm born and raised in Los Angeles, and I grew up thinking that the culture, the mixture of cultures was normal. And then I started dating Sam, and he's from Wisconsin, and after like going back and forth talking about our childhoods, I realized like it's way different. Like I realized how much I was involved in as a younger kid. Like all of my friends were of different colors and races, and I'd go to one of their family parties, and okay, this is your style of party. There's this style of party. Like, yeah, everybody has their own style of party. Let me show you how the Mexicans do it. Like,
right.
Everything was just such a big combination that I thought that was normal. So in all of that, and seeing all of these parties and hanging out with all of these people at such a young age, I was also listening to their music. So anything that they were listening to, I was listening to, and I feel like that kind of was ingrained in me. And I think that being part of Los Angeles, or being in Los Angeles and growing up here has kind of translated over to my music. Like, it's kind of just a little bit of everything. There's a little jazz, a little soul. I grew up listening to country with my mom. She loves Dwight Yoakam, so it's like kind of all over the place. And for some reason, to me, at least, it still makes sense.
Well, it's absolutely beautiful. You have a beautiful sound. I would buy an album of yours like in a second.
Well, I got 'em up.
So, yeah, exactly. And I was just going to say, so I encourage our listeners to, check Raquel's music out, find her on all of her social media handles and where she can sell her. Is it Apple Music and Spotify and
all of it? I'm on Untitled. What are the other ones? I'm on all of them, basically.
That's so great. That's so great. Well, I know you're gonna tell us about that. You're gonna do two songs back to back. Nobody Else and I Want It All before we get into the last song. But tell us a little bit about the next two songs.
So, Nobody Else is from my new project, Sweet Side. You just heard Sweet Side. Nobody Else is from Sweet Side as well. And I actually was planning on releasing Sweet Side, the album, but it ended up, because of COVID, turning into Sweet Side A and Sweet Side B. So Nobody Else is on side A. And that was a song that I started working on well over a year ago, or two now. Oh, my gosh. Yeah. Well over 2 years ago, 2 Novembers ago. Sam and I went to London for a month long of performances. We kind of lived there for about a month. And one of the performances that we did was opening for PJ Morton at the Jazz Cafe. And I mentioned to the audience before our last song, I was like, hey, so this one is inspired by Jamiroquai. They're one of our favorite bands. I know they're from here, so if any of you guys know them, tell them to hit us up, kind of just as a joke. And one of the members of Jamiroquai was in the audience, and he immediately reached out to me afterwards and was just like, oh, my God, you guys are amazing. And I'm like, oh, my God, this is crazy.
I love that story.
We booked a session with him probably a week later after that show, and this is the first official song that we started writing for Sweet Side. And it's called Nobody Else. And then the one after that, I Want It All, it's self-explanatory. It's just about people trying to tell me that I can't and do and have everything, because I can. I can do whatever I want. I can have it all. I want it all.
All right.
But that's from the 310. So I'm just playing a combination of different records here.
I love it. I love it. Great. Well, let's get into it. Nobody Else.
This is Nobody Else. You're going through it lately, feeling the pressure down. You wanna stop being lazy, but you just don't know how. Don't let the hard times take control. Can't let them in your way, because next time you never go hand in hand. So don't get caught in that game. So you've gotta learn to deal with the valleys. The hills will take care of themselves. 'Cause in this life you've got one thing. It's you and nobody else. Say, nobody else. Nobody else. Nobody else. No, 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 no. Nobody else. Stop comparing your journey to that of someone else. Just take a moment to notice the miles you've got under your belt. So you've you're beating up yourself. Oh, but the best thing for you right now is nurture your mental health. So you've got to learn to deal with the valleys. The hills will take care of themselves. Now you guys can sing this part with me, you know it. I'm talking about me, myself, and I. That's all I got in the end. That's what I found now. And it ain't no need to cry. I took a vow that from now on I'm gonna be my own best friend. Say, me, myself, and I. That's all I got in the end. That's what I found now. And it ain't no need to cry. I took a vow that from now on I'm gonna be my own best friend. Sammy B on the drums. And this one is called I Want It All. And the world keeps turning me up on my head. Ooh, but jack of all trades, they say, and master of none. Oh, you can't have it all, they say. Girl, you gotta pick one. Oh, but baby, I want it all. Hey, said I wanna reach for the stars in the sky like I'm 10 feet tall. Yeah. I wanna be just like my lover, with a heart of gold and filled with so much love. Sometimes it's hard to find that pleasure, writing songs that make me feel like giving up. Oh, no, but jack of all trades, they say, and master of none. Oh, you can't have it all, they say. Girl, you gotta pick one. Oh, but baby, I want it all. Baby, I'll fly. Oh, sugar, now fly high. Hey, yeah.
What? That is fabulous.
Thank you.
Oh, I could just like, I don't know what to say. I love your voice. I love the
Thank you.
sound. It's such a mellow, beautiful groove. It's so soothing. It's so inspiring. You know, that last song, you know, of course you can have it all. You should have it all.
We
You
all
know,
should
and
have it all.
we should all have it all. And it's so, you know, you could tell when you're singing, Raquel, how much you enjoy singing. And it, you
do.
know, just enhances the experience for me as an audience member. It's just absolutely beautiful, really,
That makes
really
me happy.
beautiful.
Thank you.
Thank you to your partner in the back there too.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
Oh, that's so great. So you know what I want to talk about a little bit is, so we met through an initiative that we most recently did in an effort to encourage people to go out and vote called
Yeah.
Tu Música, Tu Voz, Tu Voto.
Yeah.
And I wanted to know how you felt about being a part of that initiative.
I felt really good about being part of it because I have in the past not taken voting like super seriously. I vote every time I can, but it's like, okay, Mom, what are we voting for this year? I'm not excited. I hate politics. This is so
Yeah.
dumb. But this year was very different. I think now that I'm older and I'm more involved in what's going on around me and in our community, I am more aware of just the way things work. And I also just felt that as a Latina, I had to do my part to get my community, my Latino community, out to vote, because I know a lot of Latinos especially are just, a lot of them don't care about voting. And honestly, a lot of them couldn't vote for a really long time, like my dad. I know my dad was not a citizen until I was probably about 15 or 16 here. And I remember him going to take his classes and doing all the things he had to do to become a citizen, and then he could finally vote. And I'm like, wow, so my dad hasn't been voting all these years? That's crazy. Like, what has he been doing? Like, just my mom has been voting. And it finally hit me that, like, wow, voting is absolutely a privilege, and it is a right, and it's a privilege. And I want to be part of letting my community and my people know that it is something that we need to do as a community, as a country, as individuals. It's important for us to be able to practice what we believe. Like, we have to actually put it down on paper. Like, this is what we believe. This is what we want for our futures. And I felt really, really good about being part of that. And I'm glad Sam was also part of it with me, because it's kind of just started this whole excitement in us, like, okay, we're making a difference. Like, this is
Yeah.
how we can change stuff.
Doesn't that feel good?
Music.
Doesn't that feel good?
It's amazing. It's
It
awesome.
really-
And I'm just very grateful for the whole experience. And then aside from all of the voting stuff, it just led me to you guys and the whole Sankofa crew. And I'm grateful to know you guys.
Well, we're so grateful to know you too and have you part of the Sankofa family. And of course, there's still a little bit of this election key that's like the election that keeps giving. So I just want to encourage all of anyone out there from Georgia to make sure you stay in it and stay connected and make sure you vote in the runoff and do all that you can do to help shift the balance of power here. So anyway, thank you so much. I'm so excited that you were able to join us today for Arts Across America. Raquel, you're a star. You're just fabulous, and I really, really deeply appreciate it. And I think you're going to sing one more for us,
Yes,
right?
one more.
Daydream. I'm so
This is called
excited.
Daydream, yeah. Hope you guys are ready to dance for just a second. I remember being 15, prissy, had my life all planned out, always it seemed to be, but that's alright. Okay, there's still so much beauty here. All that I got now wasn't part of the plan. I didn't know just what I wanted till it fell in my hands. I'm caught in a daydream. I don't need no one to save me. There's no need to wake me up. When life turns out differently, can't fight what is meant to be. 'Cause there's more than what you see in a daydream, daydream, daydream. Daydream, daydream, daydream. Just want to give a quick shout out to Kennedy Center, Sankofa.org, and of course Arts Across America. Thank you so much for having me. My name is Raquel Rodriguez. This is Sam Browner. You can find all my information at raquel.la. See you guys soon.
Woo! I'm still rocking out. I love that tune. That is so amazing. That was the amazing Raquel Rodriguez. Make sure that you all follow her, find her, buy her music, support her. She is an amazing talent. And of course, Jasiri X, who was with us earlier in this segment at Arts Across America. I want to do a special thank you to the Kennedy Center. What an amazing collaboration it's been this year, this 2020 year. This is our, I think, 11th or 12th Arts Across America together. It's been an amazing journey and we appreciate the collaboration. I'm looking forward to moving into 2021 with you guys. And I want to also give a very special thank you to the Sankofa team, Maria Belafonte and Eric Wisa. Thank you for your support. And all you out there who have tuned in to all of the Arts Across Americas throughout this time of COVID and through the year. We have done our best to bring you interesting, insightful, and joyful entertainment and entertaining segments that you could just chill, relax, learn, engage, be inspired by. So thank you all. I hope you all have a safe and healthy, very healthy rest of your year. Peace and blessings to you all. And thank you so much. Take care.